Miriam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure?
Yes. Do you want to come and have a drink?
My dear boy, there's a world of difference between this sort of thing and academic archaeology. I mean, you're not claiming to be an archaeologist, are you?
My father was the archaeologist.
Well, as a popular account of pagan culture, I found your book highly entertaining.
He's from the
But
Ashmolean
your
Museum.
suggestion that Midsomer Barrow contains a Celtic ritual spear and chalice is simply fanciful.
You're saying that the dig at the barrow never took place?
Oh, dear.
I'm saying that as an academic archaeologist, I have to base my assumptions on documented finds. I don't have the luxury of fiction.
Fiction?
Hello, Gareth.
Evening, Vanessa. Well, this is better than Indiana Jones.
Well, I must be getting back to Oxford. Goodbye.
Well done, David. All publicity is good publicity.
You coming to the pub?
No, thanks. I'm off out later anyway.
Vanessa?
Yep. What do you reckon?
She's got you right round her little finger, that's what I reckon. What's wrong with a lass your own age? Son, if there's one thing I do know about, it's women.
Yes, Dad. I know.
So, what's it about?
The mythology associated with Midsomer Barrow, where the Celts use symbols and rituals to connect with the spirits of nature.
You mean it's a load of heavy twaddle? Well, there's no way my mother will allow you to use the barrow.
What do you want to use it for?
The festival of the summer solstice. The longest day and shortest night.
But isn't that what the big shindig on the Common's all about?
Yes, but the barrow was built to celebrate the solstice. There's a unique moment when a flaming arrow shot into the rising sun can release a regenerative power. My father, Paul Hartley Reed, was the archaeologist who first explored it.
David seems to think it's some sort of pagan Viagra.
So what's wrong with having the Solstice Festival at the Barrow?
My father died there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
There's your rustic swain, waiting patiently.
Good night, Gareth. Harry.
Flash git.
Gareth didn't buy one.
That's family for you. Couldn't you talk to him about the solstice?
Leave it, David. It's not fair to Anne.
Maybe I'll ask her myself.
David, we have to get a divorce. I'm going to see a solicitor.
No, Miriam. It's no ordinary night. Wait and see.
Oh, thank you. And what delights does the day hold in store for you, love?
I thought I'd go to that talk at the library.
Is that the one Cully mentioned?
Yes. Arthurian legend, history or myth.
Camelot comes to Corson, does it?
Don't mock.
No, I'm not.
There's a walk to Midsomer Barrow afterwards. Has Arthurian connections, apparently.
Does it? Well, you've got a lovely day for it.
You have a good time.
Isn't he a beauty? Side by the same ram as the shearling that won Best of Show last year.
I'm meeting Vanessa Stone this afternoon.
You're having a lot of meetings with her?
I like her style. I'm considering going into business with her. Just not sure what a little romance with Harry Green is all about, though.
Harry's a nice boy.
Like his father. She's not shown much interest in the mill house, though. Now, I wonder if she's using him to pull a fast one on the tenancy.
We're not going to evict Nathan and Harry.
Well, if the mill's a success, it might be a good idea to have room to expand. Vanessa and I could do well together.
I won't turn my friends out of their house.
They'll get over it.
No, Gareth.
Don't be ridiculous, Mother. It's about time you stopped carrying a torch for Nathan Green.
And so you can see how the myth of the Fisher King was incorporated into Arthurian legend. When the Celts converted to Christianity and became part of the story of the Holy Grail. In the Arthurian story, a young knight comes to the court of the Fisher King. He must ask the king about the Holy Grail in order to bring healing to the land. But when he fails to ask the question, the kingdom remains a wasteland. Finally, there is another connection to the myth of the Fisher King quite close to here. But more of that at the end of our walk to Midsomer Barrow. Now I think we should take a short break and help ourselves to coffee. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next was an early one, yes.
Excuse me. I thought you might be interested in this.
Oh, thank you.
My husband wrote it. You may know of his father, the archaeologist, the late Paul Hartley Reed.
Indeed, I do. I shall look forward to reading it. Thank you.
We should introduce ourselves. Jane Willows.
Joyce Barnaby.
I'm the arts officer.
Of course. You organise these talks, don't you?
He's enjoying himself. He's from Norway. He's come here to do some research in the archives here.
Fisher King. How was the talk?
Nice man. Norwegian archaeologist. Per Hansen?
Don't know him. Any good?
I enjoyed it. Anyway, I gave him a copy of your book. You never know, he might review it. Enjoy your fishing.
It'll cost a bit more doing it this way, but there are grants. And by restoring a heritage site, I get free publicity for the bakery.
Well, you've got it all worked out.
Of course.
I've been thinking. Rather than you raising money to buy the mill, maybe we should be partners instead.
Don't want a partner.
We could take over the mill house as well, open up a restaurant.
Gareth, we had an agreement.
So, things change.
I've put months of work into this. This has cost me a fortune with solicitors, planning applications, everything.
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying let's combine our talents. I know you like me.
No. Gareth!
Come on. Why let pretty boys stand in the way of a good business deal? Hmm?
Do you?
Hello, Harry. Chance of any trout in Parsons Pool, do you think?
Not if the pike's been up there. I'm after him now.
Good luck.
You must know the area quite well if your daughter lives here.
Oh, she hasn't been here that long. She wanted a change of scene after her divorce.
There it is. Look.
Midsomer Barrow. There are different versions of the story. Either an old king must die to cleanse and bring.
You've been coming on to me since we first met.
King who was impotent must.
Gareth!
Let's make your mind up time. Listen to the wrong guy.
That the myth of the Fisher King is connected to Midsomer Barrow. There are different versions of this story. Excuse me.
Gareth, get off me!
She's all right over there.
Gareth, get off me!
Oh, my
Get
God.
off!
It's my daughter.
Who's that with her?
Gareth Heldman. Do you mind?
No, of course not.
There's a bridge further upstream. I must see if she's okay.
Jane, you must go.
That man's name was Gareth Heldman, 36, single, local landowner, ran the family estate. Georgie Bullard reckons he was killed by stab wounds through the thigh. It's cut his femoral artery. So he bled to death. He sort of bruising around the face like he might have put up some kind of fight before he was killed.
No murder weapon, then?
Well, it's only this.
He was killed with that?
No, it's got some kind of spearhead around here. Must have taken considerable force to break that off. It also produced an interesting reaction with the victim's blood. Bullard says it was probably made from some kind of primitive iron.
Harry Green, sir. The river keeper.
Thank you, Constable. Harry Green. I'm Detective Chief Inspector Barnaby. This is Detective Sergeant Scott. What happened to your face?
Oh, nothing. An accident.
Looked like you'd been in a fight.
I slipped on some river stones, that's all.
Can anyone corroborate that?
Only the rock I smashed my face on.
Did you see Gareth Heldman by the river yesterday?
Nope.
Or anyone else?
Only David. But he's often by the river of an evening. David Hartley Reed.
Yes, we know David Hartley Reed. He found the body. He says that he saw you spearfishing. Was this part of your spear?
Yes, but where's the head?
You tell me.
I left it by the river.
Odd way to fish. With a spear.
Not for big pike. They lurk at the bottom, often spearing them is the easiest way.
What was this spearhead like?
Oh, made of iron. It's pretty old and heavy, but perfect balance.
Where did you get it?
My dad found it years ago.
Where did you go, Harry, when you left the river?
Home.
Well, can anyone corroborate that?
No. My dad wasn't there.
So you saw no one else here yesterday?
Oh, there were some women visiting the barrow.
Yeah, know all about them.
I've been punished. I always knew it would happen, but not like this.
Did you see anything out of the ordinary?
I was with Cully's friend from the library, Jane Willows. We saw the man arguing with a woman on the other side of a river. It was her daughter, Vanessa.
Did you hear what they were saying?
No. Looked like a lover's tiff. Then they went off in opposite directions. Jane went after her daughter to see if she was all right. Excuse me.
Sorry. What about the rest of the group?
Pear told us all to take a moment alone on the barrow to soak up the magic.
And did you?
What?
Soak up the magic.
Yes, Tom, thank you, I did.
Did you see anyone else on the other side of the river? A young man with a spear.
I was lying in the grass with my eyes shut, enjoying the peace and quiet. Not a very good witness, I'm afraid. Lee, thank you.
Harry! What happened?
Got in a fight.
What about?
What do you think? I saw him trying it on with you.
Well, you're at the river.
I told you I wasn't standing for it.
You hit him.
I didn't kill him. Someone stabbed him.
I believe that you saw Gareth Hellman with your daughter, Vanessa, yes?
Yes.
My wife says, you've met Joyce, haven't you? She says they were arguing.
That's why I went after her.
What did you think they were arguing about, Mrs. Willows?
Miss, I never married. I don't know what I thought, just, a mother being anxious.
Did you see your girl's boyfriend, Harry Green, by the river?
No.
Did you talk to Gareth Hellman?
Hardly. I was just thinking about my daughter.
And did you catch her up?
Yes, thank goodness. She gave me a lift home.
This is Hartley Reid.
Yes.
Detective Sergeant Scott, Causton CID.
About Gareth's death.
Yeah. Your husband found the body. Can you confirm his movements yesterday afternoon?
He went fishing. He came home in a terrible state. Gareth was his cousin, you know.
Did they get on?
Gareth wasn't terribly interested in family.
So, what are these?
An Iron Age ceremonial spearhead and chalice. 3,000 years old. They would have belonged to a Celtic chieftain. David's father found them in Midsomer Barrow 30 years ago.
Excellent. Too many years grubbing about on the earth.
Professor Henson, your talk was about a legend connected with the barrow, wasn't it?
Fisher King.
Perhaps you could fill me in briefly.
Well, the Fisher King was a wealthy lord who suffered a wound to his thigh, the dolorous blow.
That's how our victim was killed.
Here, perhaps you should look at this.
David Hartley Reid. He it was who found the body.
No. How very apt.
How do you mean apt?
Well, a symbolic death at the barrow, and the expert finds the body. All myths and legends, they just boil down to human nature in the end. There's A little bit of the pagan left in all of us, don't you think?
I'm buying the old watermill from the Heldman estate.
Is that what you were arguing about?
Yes, we've been negotiating for weeks, and yesterday he threatened to go back on his word, change the deal.
Is that all it was about? So far, Mrs. Stone, you're the last person to see Gareth Heldman alive.
I shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but Gareth wasn't a very nice man.
Did he assault you?
He thought we should be partners. I disagreed.
Because you've already got a boyfriend, haven't you, Mrs. Stone? According to Harry Green.
Yes.
Bit young, isn't he? I'd have thought Gareth Heldman was more your type.
And what makes you think you know what my type is, Sergeant?
Did Harry see you with Gareth? Come running to your rescue?
I didn't even know Harry was at the river.
Where did you go after your argument with Gareth?
Back to my car, then I gave my mother a lift home to Coulston.
Apparently, Harry uses an old iron spear for fishing. You ever seen it?
No. Why?
We haven't found the murder weapon yet. And you don't know how Harry got that bruise on his cheek.
Why are you so interested in Harry?
Everyone who came into contact with Gareth Heldman at the river yesterday is a suspect, Mrs. Stone.
Hello, I'm Detective Chief Inspector Barnaby. This is Detective...
Come in. Come in, I've got something to show you. It's from the barrow. The ceremonial spear my father found. Has to be.
Is that what was used to kill Gareth?
We're going to have to take this for forensic examination.
Where'd you find that?
Lying there, on the hall table. The front door was open.
You mean someone just walked in and left it?
Yes. Here's the original drawing my father made in his diaries. Roger Heldman gave my father permission to excavate the barrow. It was his land.
When was this?
Oh, 30 years ago, more. The spear and the chalice, they were in a stone chamber inside the barrow. My father left them exactly as he found them.
Why would he do that?
So a colleague could see them in situ. In Celtic mythology, the spear and the chalice are highly symbolic objects.
Well, there's the spear. Where's the chalice?
There's one in the Ashmolean Museum, identical to the drawing in Paul's diary, but supposedly from another site. Dr. Lavery, the man who found the Ashmolean chalice, knew David's father, and he's not at all happy about David's book.
But now the spear has been found.
One of those pointless academic disputes.
But why were these treasures just left inside the barrow?
That night there was an accident. The entrance to the barrow collapsed and Roger Heldman was killed. My aunt had the chamber sealed up again straight away.
Your aunt being Anne Heldman, Gareth's mother, yes?
Yes.
And she's never been back to the barrow since.
And your father?
He left when I was a few months old. Never contacted my mother again. We heard eventually he died in a car crash.
Does the diary mention anyone else who might have known that the spear was inside the barrow?
Nathan Green. He was paid to do the heavy digging.
So Nathan Green might have taken the spear and what? Passed it on to his son to fish with?
Do you think that the killer left it here?
Maybe.
But why here? Why this house?
Midsummer Solstice is drawing near. A moment of mystic power. The spear is a sign that we must seize that moment.
Mr. Hartley Reid, someone may be trying to incriminate you, but equally, for all I know, you may have placed the spear there yourself. Have you tracked down the coroner's report on Roger Heldman's death?
Yes, sir. It's accidental. I've asked for a copy of the police file as well. It's coming up from central storage. When they can find it under the dust.
Georgie Bullard confirms the spearhead as the murder weapon. Both the deaths may be linked to the spear, as well as to the barrow. Perhaps they both have mythic significance.
Policeman asked about your fishing spear. Said it was missing.
So you told them I took a pop at Gareth because I was jealous?
Why didn't you tell the police you had a fight if that's all it was?
Because I'm their #1 suspect, that's why.
Or you would tell me, wouldn't you?
You think I killed him?
No! I don't understand.
How could you?
What's up, son?
Don't matter.
She's dumped you. I knew she would. Now she found she can't buy the mill after all.
It's nothing to do with that. Anyway, she can still buy it.
Anne won't sell.
Why not?
Because she knows I'm not happy about it. Now you can find a nice girl your own age. Your own sort. Businesswoman. Furthering her ambition. That's the business she's in.
Dad. Who do you think killed Gareth, Dad?
I've no idea. But like you say, he had it coming. Took after his father, treated everyone like he owned them. Even his own mother.
Oh, you're after me, I suppose.
No, we've come to see your father.
Mr. Nathan Green.
Yeah?
I'm Detective Chief Inspector Barnaby. This is Detective Sergeant Scott. You'll know this is about Gareth Heldman. Could you tell us, please, where you were on the afternoon that Gareth Heldman was killed?
I was doing odd jobs about the place.
Were you on your own?
Yeah. So?
Could you identify this for us, please?
That's my fishing spear.
That was used to kill Gareth Heldman.
Harry says you found it years ago.
That's right.
Was that when you were working on the archaeological dig at the Barrow?
What's this about?
That was taken from the Barrow 30 years ago.
People around here are always turning up old stuff. You're not mixing me up with all that.
Or what?
That spear disappeared on the night that Roger Heldman died.
Dad?
Now, I believe that you were there. So what did you see?
It was an accident. I had nothing to do with it.
Did you take the spear?
Oh, come on. We need to know what happened.
Paul Hartley Reid said he'd found something precious. So I went back up to the barrow that night. It was Hellman's land. I wanted to take something of his, something precious.
To sell it?
No.
What exactly did you have against him?
I didn't kill him.
Then why didn't you just come forward and say what you'd say?
I had no idea that there was anyone else out there.
Did you recognize who it was running away?
You've never said a word of any of this.
Roger Hellman was murdered. There were plenty who were only too glad to see him dead.
Did you see who it was?
I know who had most reason. Paul Hartley Reid.
David's father.
Well, he wasn't David's father, was he?
What are you on about?
Everyone knew that Roger Hellman was David's father.
Here you go, Mum.
Oh, thanks very much. Nessa? Talk to Harry again, please.
Maybe.
I'm sorry about the death of your son. Can you think of anyone who would want to kill him?
No.
What about your nephew, David Hartley Reid?
I know why you're asking. Nathan called me.
Is it true?
That my husband was David's father, yes.
Does David know?
Yes. And Gareth knew too, though we never talked about it openly. When Paul, my sister's husband, abandoned her, my sister blamed me.
Why did she blame you?
Because I turned a blind eye to Roger's fornication.
Mrs. Hellman, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you about the death of your husband as well that night at the barrow.
That was 30 years ago.
Nevertheless, do you think he and Nathan had some kind of struggle, a fight maybe, which caused the entrance to collapse?
Nathan, no.
Why, he admits he was there. He stole the spear.
If you only knew, no one had a truer friend than Nathan Green.
What about Paul Hartley Reid? He certainly had reason to resent your husband.
Yes, Paul was bitter and resentful. He never forgave my sister, and he abandoned her shortly after. But she never stopped loving him. They were childhood sweethearts. There they are. Now it's Paul, my sister, and me. I'm the only one left.
Go buy him the other half.
Sir?
When you told Anne Hellman that Nathan had stolen the spear from the barrow, she showed no surprise at all that he was even there, did she? Did you notice that?
No.
No. Well, you go and have a friendly chat with him, see what you can find out about the relationship between Anne and Nathan, okay?
Right. Drink?
There's something I should have told you. Gareth and I had a flaming row that day. I hit him. So go on, arrest me.
Did you kill him?
No. Not that it seems to matter to anyone.
Why did you lie when we asked you before?
I knew you wouldn't believe me.
So you did see him with your girlfriend? And you thought, she's two-timing me?
No.
Well, he's more her age. He's loaded, too.
She never liked him. Didn't stop him from trying it on with her, though.
So you stuck one on him, did you?
Yeah.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, what's the deal between your dad and Anne Heldman?
Never quite worked that one out.
Bit of a ladies' man, is he, your dad?
Yes, as it happens. But I don't reckon it was ever a full-on thing. They're like... proper devoted.
Any idea why?
No. Stopped being interested in Dad's women years ago.
What has my paternity got to do with Gareth's death?
Probably nothing at all, but you did share a father.
I'm sorry Gareth's dead, but he wasn't exactly the brotherly type.
Gareth was the legitimate son, and he would have inherited that estate. How did you feel about that?
I own this house, Mr. Barnaby. Proof that inheritance has little to do with paternity.
Do you know of anyone who held a grudge against the Heldman family?
Not now, no.
What about Nathan? Nathan Green? Apparently there was no love lost between Nathan and Roger Heldman. I'd be interested to know why. Why was that?
My mother once told me that Nathan had a teenage sweetheart who worked at Priory House. She ran away without a word. She was just a child.
Your other father, Paul Hartley Reid, do you think he killed Roger Heldman?
No. He was in Oxford that night staying with a colleague. And anyway, Roger Heldman's death was an accident.
No, I wouldn't be too sure of that. We have some new evidence that was never shown to the coroner.
Harry? Harry, I've come to apologise.
It's a bit late for all that.
You know I never meant it. We both know what Gareth was like. I'm glad you hit him. Forgive me, please?
They've been asking my dad all sorts of questions, too.
You see, we're all suspects. It means nothing. You know I love you. I really do. Harry.
Anne, I've come to ask you something. Something important.
I know what you've come to ask me. And the answer is no.
We need to restore spiritual harmony to this family.
My son is dead, murdered.
But it's because he's dead. The past is crying out to be laid to rest. The wound has never healed. Please, Anne.
I will not allow it.
I have a claim on this land too, you know.
What?
Rightfully, I don't need to ask your permission.
Oh, you are Roger's son.
You must allow us to use the barrow.
Do what you want. You will anyway. Roger always did.
According to your statement, Paul Hartley Reid was staying here in Oxford with you the night Roger Hellman died.
That was years ago. Surely you're not raking all that up again.
We are investigating the murder of his son, Gareth Hellman, and there may be a connection. Now, can you confirm that he stayed here?
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Were you friends?
We were colleagues.
I understand that you have here in the collection a Celtic chalice that, shall we say, resembles one which Paul Hartley Reid says he found in the inner chamber of the Midsomer barrow.
Not that old chestnut. Our chalice was uncovered by one of my students on a site I was supervising in Suffolk. Look, I'll show you. Come on.
Listen to me, David. I've been to see a solicitor. I'm prepared to come with you to the Solstice, but it's not going to make any difference to us. Our marriage is over.
Wishful thinking. Goodness knows, we're all tempted.
Are you suggesting that Paul Hartley Reid's diaries are invented?
Exactly. Though that's not what his son wants to believe.
Dr. Lavery, there was another witness to what was inside the barrow.
The only other person to enter the barrow was Roger Hellman.
Nathan Green did the digging. He saw the spear and the chalice.
He left the chalice, but he admits he stole the spear. And that spear was used to kill Roger Hellman's son, Gareth.
Who are you?
Forgive me. Per Hansen. The back door was open. I couldn't resist. Such a beautiful old house.
What do you want?
Your wife very kindly gave me a copy of your book. I wanted to ask you about it.
Oh, I see. Well, what is it you wanted to know?
I was intrigued by the illustration of the chalice. It bears such a striking resemblance to one I've seen in the Ashmolean.
Which Dr. Lavery found during a dig in Suffolk.
But which you claim comes from Midsomer Barrow.
Yes. The spear has already come to light.
Really? How can you be sure?
A local man admits he stole it at the time of my father's excavation.
Ah.
I don't think I can go on.
You got through before, didn't we?
This isn't the same.
I'm here. I'm still here. You're the archaeologist, Professor Henson. Perhaps you'd be kind enough to give me your take on this.
More than happy to help.
Could Dr. Lavery somehow have taken the chalice from the Midsomer barrow and then to have secretly buried it at his own excavation elsewhere, ready for a student to find it?
Anything is possible.
What do you stand to gain by such a fraud?
Reputation. But then perhaps Lavery is right and those diaries are a complete hoax, like the Piltdown Man.
But why?
It's what archaeologists dream of, an untouched site that offers up significant treasures. I don't just mean that they're valuable. I mean artifacts that are symbolic, that can be interpreted, written about, lectured upon.
Reputation.
A life, Mr. Barnaby, a fulfilled life.
But based on fraud.
Perhaps.
To us, our moment is near. Everything will change tonight, Miriam. Drink.
I can't.
If we connect with the ancient earth mysteries tonight, the gods will absolve the past.
There are no rites or rituals that can change anything for us.
Miracles can happen, Miriam. The Fisher King will show us the way.
I don't want to do this, Nathan.
You must.
I haven't set foot on the barrow since that night.
I'll look after you.
Stay with me, Nathan.
Hello, Anne. So glad you've come. I'm sorry if David upset you, but he really does appreciate your allowing us on the barrow. And your coming here tonight is even better. Will you light the bonfire?
Come on.
Welcome. Light the fire.
At this place of mythic power and wisdom, we lend our strength to the sun. Let the festivities begin!
Suitably pagan. According to David's book, Midsummer's Eve is when all the Earth's feminine energies are released. Very good night for sex, apparently.
You can go home now then, shall we?
Mr. Barnaby.
You've got a good crowd, haven't you?
They'll lend strength to the magic by a ceremony of communal healing.
And you needn't worry the sun won't rise, need you? That's what the ancient Celts worried about.
Oh, the sun will rise. The world will change tonight.
Keep an eye open for that, will you? Scott! That looks good.
Yeah. What planet are we on, sir? He can't be serious, can he?
Oh, a killer maybe in that crowd, Scott.
Hello, Joyce.
Hello.
Hello.
Miss Rose, Mr. Hanson. I really fancy one of those sausages.
Oh, yes, me too.
Close, you?
I come with you.
Oh, I want more.
Do you like some?
It's Jane Willows, isn't it?
Yes?
You don't recognize me?
Of course.
Have you moved back to Midsomer Murders? How are you?
Oh, I'm very well. We're very well.
Oh, yes, of course.
My daughter, Vanessa. She owns the bakery in the village.
Your daughter? Have you seen Nathan?
No.
He's here.
Well, please, in my own time.
A face from the past.
I used to be nursery maid to her son.
Oh, you never said.
I don't have happy memories.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Do I know you?
I don't think so. I think I will have another one of these. Excuse me.
Mrs. Heldman, I've spent months putting together my proposal for the mill.
Just leave her alone.
This is nothing to do with you.
She is not selling.
Nathan.
Why don't you just stop interfering?
Leave it out, Dad.
Anyway, David seems to reckon that the place belongs to him. Roger Hellman's son and heir. You should try cozying up to him. You're good at that.
see me home? Who's she?
Anne Heldman.
It was her son who was murdered.
Yeah.
That's who Jane Willows recognized tonight. Jane worked for her years ago.
What did your dad mean, telling me to ask David about the mill? Is it true? David's claiming the Heldman estate.
No, of course not. He couldn't care less about it. He was just desperate to celebrate the solstice here on the Barrow, that's all.
Yes, so when's the big moment?
At sunrise.
And we're talking cosmic climax, is that it?
Miriam? Are you all right?
I've got to go. I daren't be on my own with him. He believes that if he can become one with the new sun, our marriage can be reconsummated.
Right. You're coming home with me. Listen, I've got to get Miriam out of here.
Okay.
Not a word to David, all right?
Don't ask me, mate. Their marriage has been on the rocks for ages.
I hope you know what you're doing with that.
Oh, yes. The instant the sun appears on the horizon, we shall send flaming arrows into the dawn. Fire into fire.
Yeah, that's not really what I meant.
The glorious consummation. When the Earth Mother joins the Sky Father.
Really? Then what happens?
The land is made potent again. Desire fulfilled.
You mean we all get lucky?
Time for us to win.
Oh, we must wait for the sunrise.
Oh, God, must we?
Oh, yes.
Tell me something, Joyce. Before Jane Willows went home, did she talk to Nathan Green at all?
No, I don't think so. Why?
Because I think they're old friends. Scott, what are you laughing at?
David Hartley Reid. He's lost the plot, sir. Well, his wife left him tonight.
Before sunrise?
How about this for a theory? Gareth Heldman was having an affair with Miriam Hartley Reid, so David killed him.
I'll tell you something. Roger Heldman was also Vanessa's father.
Bloody hell, he managed to put it about a bit, didn't he? Roger by name, Roger by nature.
Harry, have you seen Miriam?
Sorry, mate, no.
Well, David, soon the sun will rise on a new day, huh? A new Fisher King will be crowned. Go. Go.
Sir.
How wonderful. What's he doing?
He's adding his light to the sun's. He thinks it'll give him power to save his marriage.
If it's David...
Don't worry, I won't.
What is it?
Is Miriam here? David's dead.
The arrow must have been fired from here, look.
He was desperate to find his wife last night, sir, before sunrise.
So they could loose off their arrows simultaneously. Some kind of mystic union with the rising sun.
Yeah, she wanted nothing to do with it, though, sir. She thought he was barking.
What a sensible lady.
We've got 2 victims now, sir. Do you think we're looking for the same killer?
There was someone here last night who was also by the river the day Gareth Hellman died, and she had reason to kill him.
Sir?
Jane Willows. Some years ago, she worked at Priory House. She was one of Roger Hellman's victims. Now, if her daughter, Vanessa, was fathered by Roger Hellman, I think she was, and she thought she saw Gareth Hellman assaulting...
His own sister?
Half-sister.
Yeah. Why would Jane Willows want to kill David Hartley Reid?
So Vanessa could inherit the entire estate?
Mr. Barnaby, I've heard. Vanessa called me. Come in.
Thank you.
So terrible. How can I help?
What time did you leave the barrow last night, Miss Willows?
Well, I got back here just after midnight.
You sure you didn't go out again later?
No.
Well,
Miss Willows, did you know that David Hartley Reid was actually Roger Hellman's son?
No.
He's 2 or 3 years younger than your daughter. You'd left the village by the time he was born.
I don't understand.
Last night, you told my wife that you'd once worked as a nursery maid for Anne Heldman.
Yes.
And David Hartley Reid, he told me that Nathan Green was once sweet on a girl who'd worked for the Heldmans. And that Roger Hellman had assaulted her.
I was 16. It was my first job.
You became pregnant with his child.
Vanessa.
And you left the village.
I've never talked about this to anyone.
So, on the afternoon of Gareth's murder, when you saw him and Vanessa arguing, well, it must have been some sort of nightmare for you, mustn't it? I mean, not only a Heldman, son of a man who'd done that to you, but also a half-brother.
He even looked like his father.
So, did you go after him?
I told you, I went after Vanessa to see she was safe. I looked after Gareth as a baby. I couldn't kill him.
Does Vanessa know that Roger Hellman's her father?
No. I couldn't bring myself to tell her that she was conceived like that. I love her too much.
Never told anyone? Not even Nathan Green?
Especially not Nathan.
Well, thank you, Miss Willows. I think we'll have to talk to you again, if we may. OK, Scott, come on.
Mr. Barnaby, please, I must be the one to tell her.
Oh, yes. Better make it soon.
I'm going down to the river.
Why not wait till you've spoken to the police?
There's something I have to do for David.
What if the killer's still out there?
After a death, the Celts cast their most precious possessions into water as offerings to the gods. They believed that lakes and rivers were gateways to the other world. David believed that too. I have to give this back to him.
I'm coming too.
Mr. Green, I need you to tell me again exactly what happened at the Barrow the night Roger Hellman died.
What about last night? Shouldn't you be out collaring David's killer?
Events of 30 years ago at the Barrow are connected to the deaths of Gareth Hellman and David Hartley Reid. Now, I want to know, and I will find out, exactly what happened.
No, this is stupid.
You left the Barrow with the spear. You went down towards the river.
It's so long ago.
And when you heard Roger Hellman cry out, you went back to the Barrow and you saw someone running away.
I don't remember.
Don't believe you, Mr. Green. You thought you saw Anne Hellman running away.
No.
You thought that she had murdered her husband.
You don't know what you're talking about.
It's true, isn't it? And you know, I don't think you've ever discussed it with her, have you?
What's there to say?
Only that I'm certain that she believes it was you who murdered her husband.
Me? How could she think that...
In revenge. After he'd assaulted your girlfriend, Jane Willows. Anne Hellman did her best to cover up for you, because she was actually pleased to be rid of her husband. You see, Mr. Green, for 30 years, you thought you owed her a debt of honor. Did you repay that debt last night? David Hartley Reid was threatening to claim the Hellman estate. Did Mrs. Hellman want him killed?
No.
Did you kill him to protect her?
No. She's grieving for her own son. She'd never want another death.
Look, this may not be the time, but what really happened between you and David?
You sure you want to know?
There's something painful you keep bottled up. It might help to let it out.
David's obsession with absolution and mystic power, the Solstice. Well, you must have wondered what it was all about.
Was he impotent? Huh. Something to do with who his true father was. I mean, I know nothing about my father. I don't think she's protecting me, but I'm desperate to know. It's not that, is it?
Partly. Roger Hellman was my father, too.
Oh, my God. You can't have known.
Of course not. David was doing a post-grad year in America when we met. Right from the start, there was this amazing bond. We knew we belonged together. We decided to get married, and we sent our parents postcards.
Miriam.
We thought we could continue to live as brother and sister.
Did you?
For a while. Till David discovered all these myths and legends that would make it all right again.
So the solstice was when the gods would give him permission to have sex with you again.
It drove him mad.
Stop! Police? What are you doing here?
I was hoping to find Mrs. Hartley Reed.
Oh, yeah? What exactly did you want from her?
The diaries. I wanted to buy them for the museum.
Why the urgency?
Oh, you'd be amazed. People's actions after a death, they suddenly start throwing things away.
But you said the diaries were a fraud. Why would a museum want them? Dr. Lavery, would you tell me something, please? How did you really come by the chalice? Was it, in fact, a payment for the false alibi you gave poor Hartley Reed? Anne Heldman thought that Nathan Green had killed her husband. So when you said that Paul was with you in Oxford, she had no reason to disbelieve your story, did she? You believed only Paul and Roger ever entered the Barrow's inner chamber. But Nathan Green had been there as well. He'd seen the chalice too.
It's my word against his.
I'm not really interested in the chalice, but you have committed a serious offense, Dr. Lavery. You provided Paul Hartley Reed with a false alibi. You are an accessory to murder.
It was an accident.
I'll tell you what you do. You come to the police station this afternoon, make a statement.
Paul's dead. What can it possibly matter now?
Oh, it does. It does. 3 o'clock this afternoon. Goodbye, Doctor.
So Paul Hartley Reed murdered Roger Heldman. How does that bring us any nearer to who killed Gareth or David?
There is one question we haven't asked ourselves. Whoever it is who killed Gareth left the spearhead on David's hall table. Why did he do that?
I don't know.
To incriminate David, maybe? There is one other child of Roger Heldman who has a claim on the Heldman estate. That's Jane Willow's daughter.
Vanessa?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, Nathan.
Jane. My God. I thought you would...
I should never have run away. I should have told you.
It didn't take much to work it out.
No, maybe not. I let you down.
Oh, Jane, you only had to come to me. Surely you knew that.
I didn't know how to tell you.
The number of times I dreamt about seeing you. Just to know that you were safe.
You'll never know how much I missed you. I couldn't.
My Jane. All this time.
Oh, 35 years.
Oh. Why now?
My daughter lives in Midsomer Murders.
Your daughter?
Vanessa.
You mean...
She's a Heldman, Nathan. But she's in love with your son.
You knew?
Only last night.
I can't regret the existence of my daughter.
Vanessa. No wonder Harry's so besotted.
She knows a good man when she sees one.
I better stay. No, go on. Wait for me at the mill.
You sure?
May the river now cleanse the past.
She's not here. She's gone to the river with Miriam Hartley Reid.
I don't know.
Sisters. That means she and David. But did she know?
He found out. Wanted to escape. David wouldn't let her.
You don't think Miriam killed him?
Miriam? Think she could have done that? No, he was her brother. She still loved him.
None of this brings us any nearer who killed Dr. Lavery.
There's only one person who knows the truth about Paul Hartley Reid. About the spear, about the chalice, about the excavation in the barrow. They're all connected. I think Anne Hellman holds the key to this riddle. Mrs. Hellman, we know that neither you nor Nathan Green were in any way responsible for your husband's death. But there is something I need to know. The night of the solstice, you saw a man you thought you knew. There was something about him you thought you recognized. Now, please, go back to that. It could be very important.
His laugh? There was something about the way he laughed. Paul? He laughed the way Paul used to laugh?
Paul Hartley Reid.
Yes, how odd, after all these years.
When Paul left Midsomer Murders, where did he go?
Scandinavia somewhere.
Like Norway?
Possibly. I don't understand. He died in a car crash.
Did you hear anything about that crash? Any details, something more you can tell us about it?
Yes, the car caught fire. He was
burned?
That's what my sister was told.
Thank you. Right.
But,
Where to, sir? Corston?
No, Midsomer Murders, Glebe House. You're going past him.
What are you doing here? Who let you in? This is my house.
I don't think so.
What do you want?
I want my name. I want my house, and I want my work.
I don't understand.
No. But I was here before, and I noticed a letter addressed with your maiden name. I knew your parents, Miriam. And then I understood what David's ridiculous posturing at the Solstice was all about. Now then, it should be here somewhere.
I want you to go. Now.
Yes. Yes. Not very imaginative, your husband, was he? Especially when it came to plagiarizing my work. He and Lavery both. Pathetic mediocrities, squabbling like children over the work your father forced me to abandon. Me doing what should have been done years ago, ridding the world of Roger Hellman's bastard.
Paul Hartley Reid.
What?
I am arresting you for the murders of Gareth Hellman, David Hartley Reid, and Dr. James Lavery. I'm also arresting you for the murder of Roger Hellman.
Paul Hartley Reid?
Surgery may have given you a new face, but you don't have eczema, do you? And you didn't want to get your gloves dirty while you ate your hot dog, did you? Because your hands are still scarred from the burns when your car caught fire.
How very observant.
You'd already taken your revenge on Roger Hellman for what he'd done with your wife. For you it was who murdered him at the Barrow all those years ago. Did you come back to Midsomer intending to kill again?
No, I came back out of curiosity, just to look around.
Why did you kill Gareth Hellman?
The spearhead. The one I discovered inside the barrow, my spearhead.
Gareth found it where Harry left it in the grass.
Came sauntering over the bridge with it after he'd finished trying to Roger Jane's daughter. Claimed it belonged to him. Wouldn't even let me look at it. Just like his father.
So you took it from him?
Hello. Ah, what have we here? I'm an archaeologist. Maybe I could tell you what it is.
I think I know what it is.
The next next day you found that David had found Gareth's body, so you left the spearhead here on the hall table, hoping to frame David for Gareth's murder.
Could have worked out nicely.
And when we didn't arrest him, you killed him. Why did you do that? Was it because of his book?
His book? It was all my work.
You killed him for that?
How dare he pass my work off as his own?
David had taken 2 bows along with him, one for himself, one for Miriam. But Miriam had left. You found her bow, and you made good use of it. Why were you so anxious to support Dr. Lavery's assertion that the diaries were a fraud? That made no sense. Not after the spear had been found and you knew that Nathan had seen inside the barrow.
Poor Lavery. Always a liability. Just desperate to get his hands on my diaries, wasn't he? Because he knew they'd expose him as a fraud.
You were here when he came to the house?
Yes, I enjoyed watching him squirm while you questioned him.
You followed him to the mill?
I was afraid he intended to kill poor Nathan Green, the only other witness who'd seen the chalice and the spear inside the barrow.
And you got ahead of him?
Nathan Green did not deserve to die. He was a good lad. He worked hard on the dig.
Come on, time to go.
I loved this house. I was born here. Was happy and fulfilled until Roger Hellman took it all. He left me with nothing. I had to take it back.
Bronze, Celtic chalice and spearhead from the stone chamber in the heart of Midsomer Barrow. That's better.
I never realised archaeology was such a dangerous business. Is the body count always this high around here, sir?
It has been remarked upon.
3 murders, just to relabel an object in a glass case.
Well, there's more to it, Scott, than merely relabeling. It was a lie. Now it's the truth.